Roy Gilroy in the Children's House. Hi, I'm Roy Gilroy, and I am 4 years old. I am a pet, a fancy cat. I have big round eyes, a short nose, small ears, and long, long silky fur. That's because I am a Persian cat. I live with Dr. Scott in downtown Chicago. Dr. Scott is nice to me and takes time to brush and comb my coat every day. I am so lucky to be his pet. But Dr. Scott is very, very busy, and I am very, very lonely. I don't go out and I don't have playmates. Yet, one day, a long letter came in the mail. Dr. Scott told me about a trip to a foreign country. He said he could not take me with him. Now, we have this small problem. I hate pet hotels, and he knows it. Last time he put me in a pet hotel, I got ill and fussy. We were both quite unhappy for a couple of days. Sunday morning, Dr. Scott made a long-distance call to California. He spoke with his sister Megan. Then he told me the good news. Aunt Megan said I could stay at her place if I was a good boy. So the next day, Dr. Scott bought a fancy carrier for me. They call it a pet taxi, you know. Dr. Scott explained to me that taxi was a Greek word, which actually means travel. I loved that. I was very excited, of course. This was going to be my first flight on a plane. Dr. Scott put me in my new pet taxi before we set out for the airport. The trip was wonderful. Dr. Scott had a seat by the window, and I was allowed to be with him. I could see the blue skies and the snowy clouds just under my nose. They were simply lovable. They looked like cotton candy, soft and fluffy and very big. They made me feel like rolling on them and hugging them all. We arrived in Orange County in the evening. Dr. Scott took a cab from John Wayne Airport. Very soon we got to Aunt Megan's house. Here, the big surprise. A toy dog was waiting for us in the doorway. He sort of barked friendly. I never saw such a funny dog before. He had staring eyes, a short and wrinkled snout, short legs, and a long, straight coat. Aunt Megan called him Gwai Gwai. She told us that he was a Pekingese dog. When we got inside, another surprise was waiting. A silly voice cried out, "Hey there, how are you doing, folks?" "Oh, here is old Alvaro," said Dr. Scott to a small green parrot. "Hi all. Boys, this is Roy Gilroy from Chicago," said Aunt Megan to Gwai Gwai and Alvaro. "He will stay with us for a couple of weeks. Please be nice to him. I am very shy, you know. I mean, when I meet someone." "Roy Gilroy, you will have good company here," Aunt Megan said to me. Then to Dr. Scott, "Don't worry, Clay, he will be all right." This is how all started. Roy Gilroy decides to spy on Gwai Gwai. One afternoon, right after my usual nap, I had a feeling that something great was going to happen to me, so I sniffed the wind. "I can't smell Gwai Gwai around," I said to myself. I sniffed the wind again and smelled his trail, and I found myself in the street. Now, let's see where is Gwai Gwai hanging about. I crossed the street quite carefully and rather fast like a city cat, and guess what? Gwai Gwai was right at the entrance of a school. I got closer tiptoe or tip-paw as in most secret missions with detective cats. So I could see Gwai Gwai lying down at the front door and wagging his foolish tail at everyone. The parking lot was packed. Cars, vans, even a limousine. It was pickup time. Parents were hurrying in and out of the school building. First I saw a small freckled boy pulling his father by the sleeve. "Daddy, Daddy, come. Look, this is Gwai Gwai. Hi, Gwai Gwai." "Hi, Gwai Gwai," said the tall freckled father. A happy-looking black girl with braided hair patted Gwai Gwai on his head, showing her shinny braces in a smile. "Dis doggy come every day to school, Mom." A toddler's dad pulled his son closer. He stroked Gwai Gwai. "Good boy," he said. "Love kids. See, Sean? He is wagging his tail at you. It means he likes you. Doggy loves Sini." Dog, Gi, lu, vez, si, ni, repeated the toddler. Silly, 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 I grumbled. I mean, I was there, and nobody paid any attention to me. I can swear I was not jealous. I only felt humanly unhappy. The kids were waving little hands back to him. Bye, Guai Guai. See you tomorrow. Take care. See you, doggy. I asked myself, am I a pet or not? Of course, I am a pet. A cute, lovable pet, I suppose. So why, Guai Guai? Why not me? My feelings were deeply hurt. That ruined my evening and also my night's sleep. Roy Gilroy discovers Southern California weather. The next morning, I woke up earlier, and I decided to plan my day. I have to admit, this is not an easy job for me. I said to myself, I must get to school before Guai Guai. Tip-pawing, I managed to fade out almost like the Cheshire Cat. Ah, what a fine morning. Yeah, I thought. This is my kind of weather, Southern California style. I was not the only happy person in the street. 2 baby squirrels were chasing each other or maybe hiding from me. I can't tell for sure. They were so funny and playful, I couldn't help smiling. I passed a house with a hummingbird feeder hanging in the patio, then another one and another one. A sweet fragrance of gardenia was in the air. The wind or morning breeze, I should say, brought to my ears soft tinkles of chimes. I could even see a birdhouse in a patio. I stopped to take a look. But no birdie came out. I had to hurry to school. Oops, a hurry-scurry rabbit crossed my way. It was so quick. The next second, he was gone. I only heard the dogwood shrubs rustling. I enjoyed my morning walk very, very much. I got to school just on time. There was a group of late parents dragging sleepy kids along. The kids were carrying big toys, pillows, plants, and other stuff. I gracefully slipped by among teddy bears and plush dinosaurs. What a thrill. How Roy Gilroy got into the sharing bin. Walking down the hall was okay. Oops, the classroom door was open. The teacher was greeting the children by their names. She was also giving each child a big hug. Wow, I stopped to watch it. Good morning, Sheila. You look so pretty today. Good morning, Miss Kathy, sobbed the girl, clutching her daddy's hand. Daddy gave the teacher a large paper bag. Here are crackers, peanut butter, and apple juice, said Daddy. Oh, thank you, Sheila, for bringing snack today. Thank you, Miss Kathy said to Daddy. And this is the change of clothing for Sheila and the bunny for sharing time, said Daddy again. I will take care of the bag of clothing. The bunny goes into the sharing bin. Thank you, said the teacher. Miss Kathy gave little Sheila the morning welcome hug. Daddy managed to recover his arm and rushed to the front door. Bye, Sheila, waved Daddy. Sheila tried to stop her daddy, but he was in his car by now. I want my daddy, she screamed. I personally respect her feelings. I guess it's quite unfair to have to get up so early in the morning. Can you imagine Roy Gilroy in a school miles from home? I mean almost every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Oh, thank heaven I am a pet. Suddenly, my whiskers whirred. My brain commanded, freeze. I held my breath as somebody's eyes were staring at me. This probably belongs to my children, the teacher said to herself. She pulled me by my tail and lifted me up in the air. A stuffed cat, she whispered. Then she tossed me in the sharing bin. My nose got between a chenille chick and a woolen lamb, and against everything I sneezed twice. All at once the woolen lamb shook its head. Bah! I managed to pull my nose out to breathe a little, and I remembered to stay still. Miss Kathy smiled and went in. 2 ugly rubber dinosaurs and a hairy monkey were crowding me badly. I tried to find a better spot in the bin next to a Barbie doll. Soon I fell asleep. How Roy Gilroy wakes up in the children's house. A soft tickle on my ear woke me up. Gwai gwai? I heard a groovy buzz around me. It can't be gwai gwai. I remembered the stuffed toys and the sharing bin. The tickle warmed my ear again. I half opened my eyes. Of course, I was still in the sharing bin. Barbie's long hair was all over my eyes and ears. Her sweet-scented hair was tickling me to death. I managed to clear my eyesight with my paw, but Barbie's nylon hair got tangled in my whiskers. Ouch, silly filly doll. I looked around. I was in the sharing bin, and the sharing bin was on a desktop. The room was large and very, very sunny, I should say sunlit. I could see little tables and little chairs fit only for kids, and a little sink with a little mirror and little bars of soap the size of a child's palm. I saw brushes and brooms with short handles and a real dustpan and dusters. There were shelves and cabinets in the room with lots of colorful things, some of which I never saw before. I could also see familiar stuff orderly arranged on the shelves: one pair of socks, one pair of gloves, table napkins, a lunchbox, locks and keys, pitchers with water and small sponges, real tableware, cloth pins, tweezers, and many, many things, all in small baskets or trays. I got very dizzy from looking around. What a busy hum, just like that of a beehive. But this was no beehive. I was in the children's house. Children were moving freely about the room, just like free kittens. But they were not jumping and dashing like kittens. They seemed to have a busy time. A little boy was carrying pink blocks to a rug. He was placing them one on top of the other, and he built a nice pink tower. A cute Japanese-American girl was sitting in a chair at a table. She was smelling tiny bottles from 2 boxes. At another table, a boy, maybe only 3-year-old, was spooning rice from a bowl into a cup. Next to him, an even younger girl was spooning dry-cut pasta into a glass jar. In the book corner, I know 'cause I saw a bookshelf there, I could spot Sheila sitting in a beanbag chair. She was still pouting. It wasn't fair. She had the beanbag all for herself. I mean, I was the one to pout for being squeezed in that bin. I felt like leaping into her lap and enjoying the beanbag instead. Just at that very moment, a soft music, a sweet singing came to my ears. Liasten. The children made silence. All the little hands and feet stopped moving, and the children became quiet and still. All the little eyes were on Miss Kathy's face. Boys and girls, it's time to put your work away and then come and sit in circle. At once, they started pushing chairs under the tables, rolling up rugs, carrying mats, trays, and baskets with their tiny things to the shelves. I never thought that children would like tidying up so quickly. I was amazed. How do they know what do to with everything? I asked myself. One by one, the children sat down in a large circle on the carpeted floor. Sheila left her beanbag spot and joined them with a big smile. Boys and girls, today we have a special sharing time. You may share with your friends something you brought to school because it was so special to you. Miss Amy will bring the sharing stick and the sharing bin into the circle. You pass the sharing stick around, and when your turn comes, you may share your words or your special object from the bin. I was afraid that someone might see me in the bin, so I ducked under Barbie's hair. I made a peephole. It was so exciting watching the quiet circle of kids sitting on their bottom with their little legs folded, their little hands resting in their lap, their little eyes on the teacher's lips. I had no time to think. 2 dark hands covered my sight. I closed my eyes. I knew when somebody, maybe Miss Amy, lifted the bin, and I had to hold my breath once more. Roy Gilroy meows during sharing time. I heard the bin touching the carpet. From my spot, it was impossible to see anything. I was covered all over with Barbie's hair. The toys were crowding me so that I could feel a Power Ranger pressing my tummy. You know what? I can't stand Power Rangers, and I guess he couldn't stand my tummy. Dr. Scott says that I am too fat. Maybe I am a little bit chubby. Well, nobody's perfect. I could hear Miss Kathy's voice again. We will start with the girls sharing. Sheila, would you like to go first? Yes, said a tiny voice. Please take the sharing stick, Sheila. Did you bring anything to share? Yes. The next second, 2 little hands were grabbing things from the bin. One little hand pulled my ear badly, but I didn't meow. Then, both little hands pushed my back forward, and a bunch of little fingers tickled me silly, searching for something under my furry tail. I bet that any other cat would have jumped up meowing, but not me. I can do better than that. I choked down Sheila's pokes one after another, just as a good big Gilroy boy. At last she seized a fluffy thing and drew it all the way against my soft tummy. Very ticklish, you know. This is my Easter bunny. Where did you get from, Sheila? Asked the teacher. From Daddy. He bought me this in San Francisco. How nice. Does it do anything? Asked the teacher again. No. Now, will you pass your bunny around for your friends to see it closer? I couldn't see anything from my hiding place, but I heard Miss Kathy saying, Boys and girls, please look with your eyes. Nobody's hands may touch the bunny. Thank you. What do we say to Sheila? Thank you, Sheila, said the children in a chorus. Sheila, please pass the sharing stick to Rachel. Rachel, what are you going to share with us? I have a new kitty kitten. Come and get it from the bin, said the teacher. I know it's a Garfield kitty cat, said a boy. It's not. It's a white kitty kitten, corrected Rachel. Little hands dived in the sharing bin again. Here she is, said the girl, and she snatched her kitty from the bottom of the bin. All the toys toppled on my back. Ouch! My whiskers got trapped inside an alligator's big jaws. Rats! I had to pull my whiskers out. And I meowed. I just couldn't believe my ears when I heard my angry meow. I was pretty sure that I spoiled everything, so I froze again and pretended I was stuffed. Me, who? I can swear it was not I this time. The children were humming with excitement. It meows, it meows. Kitty, kitten meowed. Yes, said Rachel. She can meow when you rub her tummy. That's because she has a battery inside, see? Mayo, mayo. Puff, I could breath again. Thank you, Rachel, said the teacher. Thank you, Raquel, added the children. Please pass the sharing stick to Layla. I have this. What is that, Layla? Asked Miss Kathy. It's a sleeping bag with Princess Jasmine, and has a zipper here that goes all the way down like Theory's. Very nice. Are you going to take it to the nap room? Yes, I sleep in it at home, and my mommy takes it for me in the car for the nap time at school. Thank you, Layla, for sharing your new sleeping bag with us. Thank you, Layla. Please give the sharing stick to Debbie. Debbie, do you have anything in the bin? No. Would you like to share your words? No. Okay, thank you, Debbie. You may pass the sharing stick to Linda. Linda, do you have a special thing to share today? Yes, my mommy bought me this new Barbie doll. And Linda removed the doll from my back very gently. This is, you see, I have a brush to brush her hair because my mommy said I can't wash it with baby shampoo or mommy or daddy shampoo just because I need to brush it only and put real perfume and spray on her hair to smell nice. You see, you can smell if you want. Let me smell it. And me. And I want to smell it. Boys and girls, let's thank Linda for sharing her Barbie with us, and we will continue with the boys sharing in the afternoon. Thank you, Linda. Barbie took her place on my back, and the sharing bin was lifted from the floor. Back on the desktop, I could breathe again. I opened my eyes and looked around, and I could make myself comfortable in the bin. But something slipped from my back and fell down on the floor with a big noise. I had to close my eyes again, pretty scared. Just then, something hard and cold hit my head. Roy Gilroy learns about the mystery bag. The hard, cold stuff that hit my head was a Power Ranger. I simply can't them. They never get tired of fighting, and kids love to play Power Rangers. Ugh. Boys and girls, I have a new work to show you, said Miss Kathy in a very, very soft voice. She walked to one of the shelves and picked up a small drawstring bag. She returned to the circle and put the bag carefully on a small table in front of the children. This is the mystery bag, whispered Miss Kathy, and she gently pulled the string to open it up. Then she secretly slipped her hand inside through the small opening. The children were all eyes. My mouth was watering. I guess I was pretty hungry. Miss Kathy's fingers were moving inside the bag as they were feeling something. It is hard and woody and has the shape of a cone. A pine cone, whispered the children. Miss Kathy put the mysterious object on the table and said clearly, "A pinecone." She dived again into the bag. There is a small round piece of metal. "A button," said a boy. Miss Kathy placed it on the table. "Huh, a coin," said the children in a chorus. From the mystery bag came out a pencil, a rubber eraser, a seashell, and more. Miss Kathy touched and felt every object, named it, and placed it on the table in front of the children. I was bluffed this time. No cookie, no muffin, no donut came out of the mystery bag. Not even a tiny, round, dark chocolate chip. What a shame. Miss Kathy put everything back in the mystery bag and said, "Now we will try to guess what we feel with our fingers. We may not look inside or even peek." As she said so, Miss Kathy slipped her hand inside the bag. I can feel a smooth surface of an ovoid. Its size is medium. I can hold it in my palm. It's an egg, broke the children. Let's see. Miss Kathy put the wooden egg on the table. The children's faces were filled with joy. They simply loved the game. I have to admit that I loved it, too. When the guessing was over, Miss Kathy pulled the string of the bag closed and said, "Boys and girls, please follow me with your eyes as I return the mystery bag to its place on the shelf. So, if you want to choose this work, you'll know where to look for it. Thank you." All the little eyes were watching now Miss Kathy. She gracefully walked toward the shelf and placed the mystery bag in its spot without any noise. "Now it's time to go outside for playing. Please choose a friend and line up quietly." As the children were holding hands and getting in line, Miss Amy came over the desk. I closed my eyes quickly. I could feel the hard, cold body of a Power Ranger squeezing me badly. The bin was lifted up again and moved by the door, outside the classroom. How Roy Gilroy got pizza for lunch. Oh boy, what a day. How about that? Roy Gilroy, stopping dead in his tracks? Just so. Something smelled really good. Let's check it out, I said to myself. I raised my head slightly, opened my mouth, curled my upper lip, and picked up the scent on my tongue. I had to hold my breath for a few seconds after sucking in air. Pizza. There must be a kitchen around, I thought. Soon I saw Miss Amy carrying a tray with food to the classroom. My next move was a crazy dash down the corridor. Oops, there was somebody in the kitchen. I heard a door being slammed behind me. Oh no. There must be a hiding place around here, I thought. How are you doing today, Chef Jim? Pretty good. Here is your tray, Miss Lucy. Smells good. What's for lunch? We have pizza, fresh fruit and milk for the kids, pizza for teachers. It's on the house. I'll take my lunch break soon then. Thanks, Chef Jim. Sure. I knew what I wanted to have right away. Double portion pizza for teachers. Is that 2 slices? But Chef Jim was still there, his feet in big black Nike shoes, tappity, tappity, tappity on the kitchen floor. Hey, Sneaky, here is some pizza for you. Come and get it. Yeah, know what? I also have a god smell for guys like you when they get close to my kitchen. I didn't wait for the second call. Who wants a cold pizza? Dr. Scott says that I am picky. But I'd rather starve than have cold pizza. Well, that one wasn't exactly my favorite. It was a vegetarian pizza. I love anchovy, pepperoni, and olives pizza. But it was okay when I looked around. Chef Jim was taking off in his red car. The kitchen was all mine. But I was not hungry anymore. I wished I'd had an ice cream. You just can't imagine how the freezer's doors looked like. I mean, wait a minute. I'm Roy Gilroy, not the Spider-Man. I had to give up the idea. How Roy Gilroy got into the lost and found bin. Eyes are forward, lips are zipped. Please follow Miss Amy to the nap room. Miss Amy, Miss Lucy, and other teachers were leading the youngest ones, the 3- and 4-year-olds, to the nap room. The nap room was a very large room with a few shelves, a book corner, and several child-sized tables and chairs. For nap time, the teachers had already prepared the cots with sheets, pillows, blankets, or sleeping bags. I followed closely the line of kids to the nap room. They went straight to their cots or bags and started taking off their socks and shoes. The teachers were helping the very young to untie the laces of their shoes. The children disappeared one by one under the colorful beddings spotted with Dalmatians, dinosaurs, teddy bears, chicks, letters of the alphabet. This is what I love most, I said to myself. Nap time. The window shades went down and a soothing music made me yawning drowsily. I heard a cry or a snore, or maybe both. I opened my eyes. A tiny sock slipped off my head. When I looked for my tail, it was resting on a bunch of rosy toes. I slowly removed my ticklish tail from the cot and stretched out. A girl screamed in her sleep. A very young teacher came over and patted her. "It's okay, Sandra. It was just a dream. Go back to sleep." "I want my Moomy. I miss Mommy." Other children awoke. Miss Lucy and Miss Amy came back from their lunch break. "Miss Amy, can I go potty?" asked Linda. "Sure, Linda." "I need a drink of water," said a 3-year-old boy. "Okay, Eddie. Why don't you go and get a drink of water?" "Miss Lucy, can I get up?" "Can't you sleep more, Alex?" "I did. Today I went to sleep all by myself." "Very good. You may get up and put on your socks and your shoes." "Do you need help with your shoelaces?" "No, thank you. I can do it myself. Watch me." "Good job, Alex. You are a big boy now." "Hi, Daniel. Did you sleep well?" "Oh. Do you want to get up?" Daniel nodded, sliding on his tummy all the way down to the floor. "Why don't you put on your shoes and go to the book corner?" "Can I fix my cot, Miss Lucy?" "Sure. You may fix your cot first, and then go to the book corner, choose a book, and sit down quietly with your book." "Alice, it's time to get up." "I want to sleep more." "Wake up, Noriko." "Miss Lucy, I need help." "Sit down, Sean." Miss Lucy was sitting down on the carpeted floor, surrounded by the youngest ones who couldn't tie their shoes' laces by themselves. Boy, weren't they lovely? I never got so close to small kids before. The pouting, the sleepy, the moody little face, the big smiles, and the tiny tears filled my Gilroy heart with a very special feeling I never had before. They don't show this on TV. Miss Amy leaned over a cot, whispering, "Come, Elvira, your friends are getting up." "I'm so tired, Miss Amy. I need to get up slowly." "Okay. Oh, you have a new pair of socks. They are so cute." "Thank you. You know, my daddy is in Canada, but he will be back soon." "I see. Now, let's put on the new socks." "No, I can do it myself, Miss Amy. I'm almost 4. I can buckle my shoes all by myself. My mother let me choose my dress for today. Do you like it?" "Oh, yes. It's very pretty." I drew closer to see how the rosy tiny toes were making their way into doll-sized socks. Maybe my furry tail showed, or one of my paws. I just felt a little hand patting my head and my neck. I couldn't see anything. Little arms pulled my head up from under the cot. My whiskers got into my ears as I was dragged along the zipper of a sleeping bag. This was happening for the very first time in my whole life, and I hardly knew whether to run and hide or stay calm. Then I heard a whisper. You don't have to be afraid. I want to give you a hug, kitty kitten. I took a deep breath and looked around. I couldn't see any kitten. You know what? I guess you are Mama Cat because you are so big. She was definitely talking to me. Come, Elvira, put your toy in the bin, said Miss Amy. This is not my toy, Miss Amy. Okay, then I will put it into the lost and found bin. But Miss Amy... How Roy Gilroy made the fur fly. I need to talk to you, boys, said Aunt Megan one morning to me and to Gwai Gwai. To begin with, I want to let you both know that I have got several phone calls from people who care. The grocers, thought licking my upper lip. They said that a toy dog and a fat cat could be spotted around the neighborhood school for the past 2 weeks. How spooky, I said to myself. Don't tell me, I know exactly who they are. There must be a tiny Pekingese dog named Gwai Gwai and a furred Persian cat known as Roy Gilroy of Chicago, Illinois. Is that correct? Asked Aunt Megan, frowning. Now, it's nice so socialize, and a school is definitely a good choice, but stop and think of the dangers of walking out on your own. You might be caught by hungry coyotes, squashed in the driveway, kidnapped or get lost. Aunt Megan looked very upset. It's so sad. You two need to be separated. I will take Gwai Gwai to the vet for his regular check. Then he will accompany me to my weekly errands. You better stay home, Roy Gilroy, and think about it. No kidding, Aunt Megan closed and locked all doors and windows in the house. Then she put Gwai Gwai in her Oldsmobile and took off. For a few minutes, I thought of the hungry coyotes, the cars, vans, trucks, and pet thieves. Boy, I got pretty scared. I did get so terribly scared that I tried to hide in a drawer. Or in a closet. That's how I started dumping Aunt Megan's duds in a heap right in the middle of her room. Then I took my snack break. Snack was followed by my after-snack nap. When I woke up, it was still time to fix Aunt Megan's room. I thought it would be nice to make her a surprise. What about giving a new look to an old place? And because I was missing school so badly, I sort of tidy up thoroughly so that everything would look pretty much like in the children's house. I started with the drawers and closets. All I needed were basically a few baskets. I could find several large ones in the garage. Laundry baskets work fine. The idea is that they must be attractive. So I had to paint my baskets in lively colors like shrimp, honey, peach, olive, cranberry, coffee, banana, spinach, orange, eggplant. Right, you've got it. In order to be organic and the real thing, I used food dyes. By the way, my tail works great as a paintbrush. Next, I gathered Aunt Megan's shoes in the honey basket, all her socks and stockings in the coffee basket, all her lingerie in the cranberry basket, all her hats in the shrimp basket. Her silk blouses got the olive basket. Her t-shirts went to the peach basket, dresses to the eggplant basket, and scarves in the spinach basket. That's how I started dumping Aunt Megan's duds in a heap right in the middle of her room. Then I took my snack break. Snack was followed by my after-snack nap. When I woke up, it was still time to fix Aunt Megan's room. I thought it would be nice to make her a surprise. What about giving a new look to an old place? And because I was missing school so badly, I sort of tidy up thoroughly so that everything would look pretty much like in the children's house. I started with the drawers and closets. All I needed were basically a few baskets. I could find several large ones in the garage. Laundry baskets work fine. The idea is that they must be attractive. So I had to paint my baskets in lively colors like shrimp, honey, peach, olive, cranberry, coffee, banana, spinach, orange, eggplant. Right, you've got it. In order to be organic and the real thing, I used food dyes. By the way, my tail works great as a paintbrush. Next, I gathered Aunt Megan's shoes in the honey basket, all her socks and stockings in the coffee basket, all her lingerie in the cranberry basket, all her hats in the shrimp basket. Her silk blouses got the olive basket, her t-shirts went to the peach basket, dresses to the eggplant basket, and scarves in the spinach basket. Now I had this feeling that something was missing from my mystery bag, something soft and fancy. At my suggestion, Alvaro volunteered to get into the mystery bag. You might be surprised, but Aunt Megan liked feeling and guessing, and again guessing and feeling for a couple of days or so. The only bad part was that she couldn't take out the stuff from the mystery bag. When Aunt Megan got very, very bored, one evening she plugged the drawstring, the TV cord, in a socket in the living room. I bet you imagine what happened. If not, I will tell you. Alvaro was interrupting all the silly movies with a good health commercial like, "Eat a variety from each of the 5 food groups of the food pyramid." When Aunt Megan switched the volume on mute, Alvaro spat out watermelon seeds all over the place. Then Aunt Megan tried to change the channel, but Alvaro started broadcasting the yellow pages of Orange County phone book on all channels. At night, the queen pillow was snoring in its sleep. This helped Aunt Megan realize how important was to control ourselves. In a few days, I had to change the stuff in my mystery bag because Alvaro ran out of cereals in the food pyramid. Besides, between commercials, Alvaro played ping pong with Guai Guai, and the ball got stuck in his bill several times. Anytime this happened, Guai Guai was barking for a couple of hours or so. That made Alvaro so nervous that he swallowed the ping pong ball for a change. The problem was that every other day Aunt Megan could find the ball under his feathers. This made her think that Alvaro began to lay eggs. So they started fighting because Aunt Megan wanted to show his eggs to the ladies from a support group for endangered species. But Alvaro didn't let her take his egg away from him, because he was afraid of those ladies. That's why he pretended he was hatching it. Actually, the ping pong ball, you know. I had to work out a solution for a rush case. So I turned on the heat to high. You should have seen Guai Guai, sticking his tongue out and getting funny with us. Aunt Megan said she never, ever believed that Guai Guai could lose his good manners. He became quite sassy. Just then, the smoke detector set off a loud signal. Aunt Megan ran upstairs first, and then she came running downstairs, because Guai Guai was now barking at the front door, like the latest barking dog alarm. Of course, I joined him, meowing and jumping to reach the knob and open the door. When Aunt Megan got close, rumbling and grumbling, we heard several kicks in the door. Aunt Megan took the riffle from the closet, pulled the trigger, then unlocked and opened the front door. Surprise, Dr. Scott was standing out there smiling, armfuls of gifts and parcels from his trip. It was an evening to remember, and everybody enjoyed Dr. Scott's treats and goodies. The next morning, I had to get into my pet taxi once again and leave for Chicago with Dr. Scott. That's all about my vacation in Southern California. Hope to be back someday.